Hello, ladies and gentlemen, crypto deep divers. Welcome back to Weekly Crypto. Today, I'm going to talk about the new EOS proposal, as well as Bitcoin ETF, and also I will touch on Icon as well. So before we get into that, just to remind everybody that Bitcoin hard fork is coming up on September 10, and this will involve Zcash as well as Bitcoin. So if you have Bitcoin or Zcash, you will get some free, basically free hard fork token. So let's get into it. Oh, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out the upcoming airdrop giveaway hard fork or ICO. Also, you can follow me on Twitter as well. And so let's talk about this new EOS proposal. So they propose to vote for 100 block producer per account instead of 30 block producer right now in the current system. So Cyphergrass posted this on Reddit, and so there's some comment from the Reddit community. Not a great idea. Hard enough to find good 30 good candidate, let alone get 100. And the other community members talk about they are good block producer, but so far they will leave if not get paid. How will you decide if block producer is good or not if they never got a chance to be one of the block producers, right? So any block producer coming has no chance whatsoever with the current system. That could be true because they are not the first one to get into right now. It's a little bit tough to get your name out there as a block producer because people already fall in to the block producer they are familiar with. So exactly, sooner or later, voting will be useless because there won't be anybody left except those already voted in. And other community members talk about good idea. I think there should be inverse voting and up to 50 at least. One feature would be really helpful is 25% weight for down votes for each account. Sometimes it's hard to kick out a bad block producer from the top. That is very true too. And there's so much complacency. So status quo and all that. And so they don't want to be dethroned. I mean, to me, I think it's better to rotate block producer, and so all the block producer have the opportunity to become the top 20 or something block producer. That would be more healthier to the community. So because everybody get a chance, right? But right now is most of the top 20 block producer or top 30 block producer is basically I think it's the top 10. I think some of them are supported by the whale. And also, let's see, they are, okay, so they are 50 plus block producer, but many of them not get enough votes at all. What happened in the first 80 block producer? You have found some more info of a block producer getting votes and pay now. If you explain the voting target, more fake block producer would appear. So anyway, so I would like to hear from you. What do you think about this increase the block producer to 100 from 30 block producer to 100, and so they can get paid or something like that. And I think the best idea is just to rotate the block producer. Everybody get a chance to do that, like maybe every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, something like that. I mean, that will be give everybody have an opportunity to be one of the block producer. So please comment below. Do you think this is a good or bad idea, and or you have something better than these alternatives? Please comment below. I would like to hear from you. And the next stop we're going to talk about Bitcoin ETF, and Andreas Antonopoulos. He talked about Bitcoin ETF is a terrible idea, and so Andreas is one of the most prominent figure in the Bitcoin community and also one of the most respected leaders in the cryptocurrency community. And he talked about that he's also the author of the internet money, and also he's also and also as well as the mastering Bitcoin as well. He does not. He does think that ETF are coming. Inevitably, they are coming, but he also suggests Bitcoin ETF mean a kind of financialization that runs counter to the entire point of the Bitcoin specifically, and cryptocurrency in general. That make perfect sense because the fundamentals of blockchain technology is to decentralize the power back to the people from institution control. But right now, if you introduce ETF, there will be a higher chance of institution manipulation and stuff like that. So if you do ETF, basically you concentrate all this Bitcoin or whatever, because in theory, ETF you have to have a certain Bitcoin to back it up. I talked about that previously about the gold ETF, and the gold ETF may not because they have a lot of disclaimer in the prospectus for the GLD Gold in the Nasdaq, not the Nasdaq, New York Stock Exchange. They listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So there's a prospectus I talked about in my previous video. You can check it back. So there's a lot of disclaimer. People are questioning whether the ETF really hold real gold and all that thing. They do hold the gold, but the thing is the percentage. Like, is it 100% they own it, or they have like only 50%? We don't know. So that's another thing. So anyway, so he went on talk about that for mainstream enthusiasts, those who hope to get more Bitcoin adoption, the exchange traded funds ETF hold most mystical appeal. So the ETF also thought to be in the big thing for the next run up. So for retail investor, ETF probably present a nice way to hedge against the risk without the border of housing the community, because you don't have to buy a ledger to store your Bitcoin, and then you have to copy down those phrases in order the 24 phrases in order to recover your wallet, just in case your ledger is not functioning and all that. And so you don't have to do you don't have to store your own coin basically. And also ETF are then custodial arrangement repackage, which is easier for typical investor or retail investor. Fund is created and shares of the fund are sold. It has been a careful way to invest for many retail investors. That would be easier for most of the mainstream investor basically. Also, proposal for Bitcoin variation would essentially impose something similar, and then they have a manager which offer a fund of Bitcoin, and then they will sold the Bitcoin like shares, stocks, and then essentially a reserve, and then shares will be sold as through the brokerage firm or brokerage, or through your like Charles Schwab or Fidelity or whatnot. And it's a custodial reserve system. Investors do not have to hold Bitcoin. But the thing is, if you don't hold your private key, you don't hold your Bitcoin. That's another thing. And there's some excitement over ETF in the Bitcoin community, because from the fact that of the gold prices has been stagnant for a few years, and essentially the price of gold is like go nowhere over a decade. Once the ETF introduced, the price took off, and the prospect for the Bitcoiner has become more enticing, because right now we are in a bear market right now. And the thing is, I also talk about the price of gold, the graph and all that. And I think the gold price takeoff is not just because of the ETF. It's also at the same time we have a financial crisis in 2008, and the ETF they introduced, and then the gold price has been steadily increased, but the big run up is after the financial crisis. There's a big run up for the gold price all the way up to almost 1,900 or something like that back in 2011. So ever since then, right now, gold never go back to that level. So also there's a conspiracy because of the future market of gold, silver, uranium, and this can suppress the price of the commodity. And right now we have Bitcoin, which also suppressed the price of Bitcoin ever since the introduction of the Bitcoin future back in December, when almost Bitcoin almost get to 20,000. So Andreas also concerned about price manipulation because you have to have a custodial account, and all this ETF will centralize in one place, or centralized in big financial institution. And also, whatever commodity trading with the ETF scheme is subject to worldwide price swing by large market makers. So whoever has more money, they can swing the market, they can manipulate the market and all that. And also, so because we talk about that the ETF is going to be a very large custodial holder of Bitcoin. So those shareholders will own slices of the Bitcoin ETF. They are not in total ownership of the Bitcoin per se because they do not hold a private key. That is the main thing. And also, with any hard fork coming up, if you don't hold your private key, you don't get those airdrop, the hard fork token, not airdrop. So and also another thing is, remember back last year August, around August, because of the Bcash hard fork, during that time the ecosystem has to wait to hear from the exchange on their terms, or whether they will accept the hard fork. So you're basically at the mercy of the exchange. So the Bitcoin part at the exchange has no say, and they are at the mercy of the exchange basically. So this kind of phenomenon will be exacerbated with the ETF in the space, because a future hard fork will have the same problem. So there's a second tier Bitcoiners. So another problem is centralizations, because the fund manager now become the gatekeeper, like a custodial for a centralized office, and the governance can be impacted disproportionately as well. So assuming this won't be the end of the Bitcoin, and he does warn that it will cause price manipulation and manipulation of the debates regarding how Bitcoin functions in the future. That I think I'm more worried about the Bitcoin, the manipulation of the debates regarding how Bitcoin function in the future. That is more concerning than the price itself, than the price manipulation. So he also foresee there's another, inevitably there will be another hard fork, like a Bitcoin ETF hard fork, something like that. Is more like a corporate coin, a corporate version of the Bitcoin. I mean, that is like defeat the whole purpose of the blockchain, or decentralized of the blockchain. There's no point. You go back to centralization again. There you go. And also, for example, the development process. If a developer found a way to upgrade the system to make it more privacy oriented, and privacy coin, but perhaps the heavy financial backer of the ETF fund will work to make sure that it never came through. They make sure the privacy thing never came through, because they are on the side of the government, institution. They partner together basically. And so there will be a second tier. If you buy the ETF, you basically is a second tier of the Bitcoiners. So you're second class citizen basically, or second class Bitcoin holders per se. Because you do not hold your private key, so you don't you are at the mercy of the whoever who hold the key, which is the custodial account. So I mean, so let me know what you think. Do you think ETF is a good thing to the cryptocurrency or Bitcoin community? Do you think this is a good idea? So please comment below. I want to hear from you as well. And the next stop, we're going to talk about Icon. So IC Station It's basically an incubator for startup, and basically they have offices, they have Launchpad, startup Launchpad in San Francisco Bay Area, Seoul, Tokyo, and Singapore. And Seoul, Tokyo, Singapore are more crypto friendly than China. And basically you focus on your product, and Icon will do the rest. And they can up to 100,000 USD equivalent ICX investment from Icon Foundation. They would get tech support from the Icon team, and also they will support from the Icon ecosystem, including advisor, industry expert, and investor. And also they will introduce the preferred service provider with discounted rate. And by the way, to be an advisor, they also profit from you, because once the ICO is launched, the advisor is going to get a cut, get a payout from the ICO as well. I think typically an advisor can make a minimum 1 million just from the ICO, from the project, if they launch the ICO successfully. And also they will provide ICO guidance, token economics, and white paper review. And then they're going to have a pitch deck preparation and review. And then there's a global demo day for your project. So this here, they are the Launchpad manager in San Francisco Bay Area, Seoul, and Japan. So this is pretty interesting. They do this. And I think this is good to the community as well, for Icon. And just in case you want to find out more EOS airdrops, you can go to airdropsforeos.com to find out the upcoming airdrops, or the airdrops is already done. And basically they will tell you the snapshot, when do they take a snapshot, and when will the airdrops actually occur. And also they will tell you whether this airdrop require registration or not, because some of the airdrops they require you to register before the mainnet launch. If you did not register before the EOS mainnet launch, you do not qualify for this for the airdrop. But I think most of the token is without registration. I think it's just a few they require registration before the EOS mainnet launch. You can check it out. This is a pretty handy website platform for the airdrops. So let me know what you think about the comment from Andreas about the Bitcoin ETF, a terrible idea. And do you think it's a good to the community, or bad, or indifferent? So, or do you want ETF or not? Just comment below. That would be great. And also, what do you think about the new EOS proposal? They plan to expand the block producer from 30 to 100. So that will be interesting. And do you agree? Do you think this proposal is good, or do you think it's not a good idea? Please comment below. And ICX station is pretty cool too. So and just check it out. And anyway, so if you find my video helpful, please smash the like button and subscribe to my channels. Also share with your friends, and that will also help me to build a community. So I will provide more quality program and more education. So you have to look behind the curtain. You cannot just listen to all the YouTube channels or whatever. You got to think critically. I mean, sometimes you shouldn't listen to me too, because you maybe my point is just a reference point, and you have to think critically. So you got to think, is ETF is good or bad? And I know a lot of YouTubers are saying, oh, ETF is good and good. Just like last year, they talk about, oh, this is good that institution money coming in when the Bitcoin futures introduced to the market. At the time, I felt like, oh no, they should not come in, because that would be bad to the community. But most of the YouTubers, they just say, hey, we just want to go to Lambo, and they don't they just want to go Lambo, and they thought the future market will help will boost up the price and all that. But at the end, the future market is basically to suppress Bitcoin price. So just be careful out there. Listen when you listen things, you got to do your own research, think critically. So you cannot just listen to everybody. And so ETF may not be a good thing after all. But I would like to hear from you. What do you think about the Bitcoin ETF? Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter to continue the discussions of all the crypto news. So remember, we the people control the money. Stay wise, stay safe, peace. I'm not a financial advisor. Investing in cryptocurrency or ICO has inherent risk. Please use a due diligence.